Hey, good afternoon. I was supposed to get a 3-2-1 and I didn't, but here I am. It is life on the light side. It's late today because we have all the more reason to be on the light side. And that is that the verdict came in and it was read, and that the Chauvin was found guilty, which I know it's sad to call anyone, that we should judge them. At the same time, the consciousness is hopefully in the process of changing, and that we can have happy people with this verdict, and happy all of us justice was reached, and maybe it's the door creaking open to true equality. We'll see. It's a long way down the road. Let us not be confused, but let us celebrate, and let us celebrate life on the light side, and let us celebrate that Tishy came to join us. Kissy Bug. And I realized I didn't give you an update. So, just real quick, for those of you, if this is your first time, this is Life on the Light Side. It's our afternoon break where we sit down and sit back and relax. And we take a lot of the heaviness that is around us in the world and in our lives, and we toss it off and breathe and let the light just be with us. Tishy update: sleeping a lot, eating a little, but she's eating. She pooped today. Yesterday she pooped. I celebrated that because when they don't, you go, "What's up with this?" Um, so don't know what the next steps are. We're waiting. Tomorrow I should get the vet's result on her urinalysis. So and I may still need to be learning how to give her fluids. Uh, right now, let's just be happy. We have a happy Tishy. She's a good girl, and wanted to be with us. She came out. She was a little annoyed because we were late. And she was like, "What is up with this?" And I was extra late because I was in the office. I was going to do the video from the office. And then I waited and waited for the verdict to come, and waited and waited. And then I finally I said, no, I waited. It was 5 o'clock, and I thought, well, I'll do the video. And I said, no, I got to go back because number one, Tishy waits to do the video with you. And number two, I think some of you are waiting to see how Tishy's doing every day. So there we are. Okay. Whew. Now I'm going to relax. Let me just get my little things in a row here. Oh, yeah, nothing like being able to sit back, recline, and be happy. I'm in my work outfit because I'm working, and got my sweatshirt on because it's warmer outside right this minute than it is in the office building. So we kind of needed it. The air's not on. It's just it takes a while for it to warm up. Trying to be frugal and not putting the heat on. So anyway, got some stuff to cover, not as much as usual because it's working time. Maybe we'll be done early today. Maybe not. We shall see. And we are going to begin, as we always do, with the National Day calendar. And on the National Day calendar today is National Lookalike Day. Hmm. Do you have a lookalike? Who do people say that you look alike? Now, I have been told many times, and I'm sorry, you can't see it now. If I'd had time to prepare, I could have done things that would help you see it. But many people have told me that I look like Penny Marshall. If you're not familiar with Penny Marshall, she was from Laverne and Shirley, and she had an L on her shirt. Sometimes I would wear an L on my shirt just to be funny, but she's got kind of like the teeth I had, and when I had actual longer hair. Unfortunately, she passed away at 75. I'm 75. I'm not planning on going anywhere. Um, She's Gary Marshall's daughter. She was married to Rob Reiner. And I've also been told back in the day, which I never saw it and I still don't see it, that I look like Liza Minnelli. I don't know. It doesn't do that for me. It's fun when we look at people and they look like famous people. Have you ever seen anybody, famous or not, that looks like you? And you go, oh my God, that looks like me. I've had some people tell me that, but I don't agree. I don't even agree. Like if you know my whole family, people will say, "Oh my God, you all look alike. You can tell you're related." And I look around and I go, "I don't see it. I don't think my sister and I look at all alike." Or my brother, I can see different parts of my family in their faces. Now, Tristan, who is a very handsome young 7-year-old boy, um, he does. I wish he looked like our family in the least, but he doesn't. He looks exactly like his father. Talk about strong genes. That guy has got some strong genes because there would be that man could never deny that child because it looks Tristan looks exactly like his father. I keep looking. Do I see any Sammy in there? No, maybe when he gets older, because kids, as they older, they grow and they mature and they change. So, anyway, if you want to put in the comments, because I love comments. And by the way, I can't see the comments. I must have done something to my system that they're not showing up. By the way, all this is I was petting the cat, which you'll see every time I pet the cat. A little bit of fur stuff going on. Um, Anyway, I can't see the comments. So if you comment, I'll see them after. So keep on commenting anyway. Who do people think you look like? I also thought, I think some movie stars look alike. And I could tell you more if I spent a few minutes thinking about it. But the one that always comes to me, and you may not agree, is to me Nick Nolte and Gary Busey. I get confused over which one's which. So, I just thought I'd throw out there. Do you have that with anybody? By the way, having someone that looks just like you is called having a doppelganger. And having a doppelganger was by some once considered to be a bad omen. Some people say it is your spirit double who roams the earth. I don't know, I kind of like to see mine. I don't believe in unfortunate omens, but I don't know. I think it would be fun. So if you think to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. So do tell me. I'm going to see if I can get anything over here. Nope, there are no. My comments function is not working. Just another one of those things I've done. Okay. Um. All right. So now we go into other, excuse me, National Day things. Let me see if I've got any tea here because I've got a little pickle, probably cat hair. Hello, did you want to come back up? There we go. Okay, it is National Cheddar Fries Day. Ooh, 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 ooh. That do anything for you? Yes, I'm doing some cheddar fries tonight. Only they're not going to be official cheddar fries. They're going to be tater tots with cheese melted on them. And there's going to be just a little bit of them because I'm still working on, oh, just I look at pictures of myself at the weight I'd like to be, and I say, well, that is not built with tater tots and cheese. But that doesn't mean, think about this. Don't think that if you're dieting, if you want to lighten up physically, don't think that means you have to give up everything you love. You don't. Just switch up your amounts and, really wolf down, the healthy stuff and the not so healthy stuff, but delicious stuff. you can continue to enjoy that. So, uh, by the way, cheddar free fries, I understand, were first presented at a restaurant and bar called Snuffers. That sounds like a fun place to go to. I mean, anybody that would think up cheddar fries, you can't go wrong with that. And it is also pineapple upside down cake. Oh, I wish I had some pineapple. I would find a way with my one recipe book to make it. But I got another recipe for you today in a little bit. Okay. It is, and this is what the other recipe is going to be coming up to. It is Lima Bean Respect Day. And you go like, oh, but I always remember my sister-in-law, who is no longer on the planet, but I'll bet she's sitting right next to me right now because I do love her. And all we have to do is think about the ones we love, and they are there by right of consciousness. And Joycey used to hate lima beans and peas, and she called peas green bullets, and she called lima beans lima beans. So funny. And but first of all, I like peas. I've changed over the years, doing a lot less things like canned peas, and I like my frozen peas just thawed. I don't necessarily want to cook them. And thawed peas are amazing in pea salad, but it's not pea day. It is lima bean day, or if we want to talk like Joycey, we could say it is lima bean day. Okay. Um, so let me see what else we got going here. Okay. I have a recipe of the day to share with you. Hold on one second, because I had other notes which I'm missing. So we're flying by the seat of our pants, but I'll do that when I catch you up on everything else that's going on. Okay, so this recipe, the National Day Calendar has a recipe every day, but I think if your recipe has nothing to do with any of the days, duh, doesn't make sense. So I made my recipe, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking maybe every day I'll figure out what their recipe is, and if it doesn't match the day, maybe I'll come up with one. Today is called Mrs. McNeil's Beans. Now, my grandparents, my mom's parents, had a couple that they hung around with, I mean, for years and years and years, like all since probably before my mom was born, until their respective spouses died. And after my grandmother and her husband passed away, a little while later, my grandfather and Pauline, Mrs. McNeil, started hanging out together. And I don't know that I never saw anything that would indicate an actual relationship. Maybe they had one, but they didn't want us to know, maybe they thought it would be scandalous. Um, when you lose someone you love, you can still love them and let go and go on with your life, you know? Um, because everything is about energy, and the group of four always loved each other. They were good friends, and so I just thought I'd throw that out there. So Mrs. McNeil's beans, she made for every occasion that there was a potluck. My sister-in-law Anne Marie also did it, but hers was a little bit simpler than, well, they're both really simple, but we're talking about Mrs. McNeil's beans today. Why? Because Anne Marie's beans did not have lima beans in them, and Mrs. McNeil's beans did. So this is the recipe. So if you got a pencil handy, if you don't, and you're not watching me and Live time, you can pause it and go get yourself a pen and pencil. It's really simple. Um, it's a medium onion and a clove of garlic. Remember yesterday we talked about a clove? That the whole thing is called a bulb, and one of the pieces you break off is called a clove. And then it's got a can, like a 15.5 ounce can of baked beans, B&M, whatever. It doesn't have to be just a 15.5 ounce can. It could be a 20 ounce can, whatever. Can of baked beans, and a this one is typically we would use a 15-ounce can of kidney beans. Let's say the same size can, okay? And then a can of baby lima beans. That's the clue right there. Baby lima beans. They're tiny and they're not as dry as the larger ones. Also, a half a cup of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of molasses, a tablespoon of vinegar, and a teaspoon of dry mustard. Okay. So, oh, and you know what? It's not there, but a little oil, maybe a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, California Ranch, right? Good, good company. California Olive Ranch, that is. So you saute the minced up garlic and chopped onion, saute it and let it get just the slightest bit like it's starting to get golden to brown. And then you add everything else, stir it up, put it in a casserole dish, and put it in the oven and bake it for, like, I don't know, a half hour, and it gets all bubbly and a little crispy on top. And it's really, really good. You can also make it in a crock pot if you don't want to put it in the oven. Now, the top won't get crispy, but Mrs. McNeil's beans are delicious. And there, if you make sure you read your Boston baked bean recipe, your what's in the can, and make sure you're not using anything with lard. If you're a vegetarian, it's all just read those labels. I started reading labels when right before my kids were born, because anything that was going into me when I was growing them or into them when they were born, I wanted to know. That's a lot of the stuff that really helped me turn around. So, so we see that our bean recipe today matches, gives you a good use for lima beans. Also, no, you can use those beans to make many things. I make black bean hummus. Refried beans, I would not doubt if you could not make lima bean hummus or refried lima beans. Get a little garlic, a little onion, put a little garlic and onion in anything, and maybe a little jalapeno, and you're styling. It's a good thing. So today is, by the way, Tuesday, and Tuesday is the day we talk about food. And I do want to talk about food today, which we are doing. I'm also going to give you a little hint about how to remember something. This is if you want to remember one thing. I've got a way to remember 21 things, but this is one thing. You might notice as I'm petting the cat or whatever I'm doing that I little cross these fingers. Decades ago, I don't know, I probably since I was like 30 years old, I started just crossing my finger like that when I had something to remember. What is it that I wanted to remember? I'm just being silly. I do remember. I want to talk about the cost of food. And I want to talk about food waste. Yeah. And food, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I still keep seeing the ads for stuff, that the meals that they do all the prep work for you. And then you take them home and you assemble. Some require you to do a little bit less. They do a little bit more. Some you do a little bit more. Some you do a little bit less. Some you just bring home and cook. Um, See, if we want to be financially prudent, I'm not talking about tightwad. I'm talking if you want to be financially prudent. Um, it's really, really good to eat homemade food, which is healthier for you, and to eat leftovers. People that say leftover that that don't like leftovers, I go, ugh. Leftovers sometimes are my favorite stuff. So you understand that every time someone is doing a part of your food preparation, you're paying them for their work. So it's like having someone come in and do your chopping for you and all that kind of stuff. And um I think to me that's unfortunate. And so then the other thing that's been coming up a lot, I think because they're talking about money issues so much these days and what's going to come next because we're all hurting, and we've got the pandemic is still going on. People have lost their businesses and their jobs, and that is so sad, and I pray knowing they're going to come back. But we are all learning about how to eat not only cheaper but healthier. And I'm so glad that I went to cooking school for 4 years, because I know a lot of stuff about, well, you want to only say, okay, we would say I went to cooking school for 2 years, because 2 of those years were high school. We do 2 weeks of school and 2 weeks of shop, and 2 weeks of school and 2 weeks of shop. I loved it. We need more of that. We really do. Teach these kids hand skills, because let me tell you something, that's what's coming next. We need technology. We also need touch. We also need things that are touched and made with the hands and created and worked. Believe me when I tell you, it's all about the energy. Okay. So on YouTube, I have noticed it's coming to me. I haven't gone to it, it's come to me. A lot of recipe. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess it's just maybe I draw it by right of consciousness. Things about depression food, and people look down their nose at it, which is unfortunate, because there was an article the other day about I know, meat eaters, just chill. We're not talking about turning everyone into a vegetarian. But there was a program on the other, and I won't say but, and there was a show the other day about how much our health improves when meat is cut back on, and it's good for us and it's good for the planet. And this might sound funny, but it's not funny. You would be surprised at how much greenhouse gases are negatively increased by, are you ready? Cow farts. Cow farts adds to the greenhouse gases. Also, the manure and the manure waste drains into the waterways, and there's just so many ways. So again, it's not about what you got; it's about what you do with it. Okay. Sometimes when we think about the hard times, and the ways that people got through the hard times, there was a great YouTube video I watched about when Franklin Delano Roosevelt and why is I had her name in my mind, his wife, Eleanor. Thank you. When they were in the White House and the times were really tough, it was during the Depression, and some of the things they made, and they would eat, at least publicly, they would eat the same food that the American people were encouraged to eat by the government. Of course, if you said that today, if you said lay off on the meat a little bit, if the government suggested it's good for the environment, it's good for your body, it's good for everything, well, don't you know there'd be a run on beef, pork? Give me some of that pork. Did you know that I read, according to Edgar Casey's writings, that or research or whatever. I don't know. I read it somewhere. It's on the internet. It has to be true. It wasn't on the internet. It was before the internet. But what they said that that pork is the closest tasting meat to human flesh. Think about that with your next bacon ham butt. Oh Lordy, I'm a little lightened up today, and I don't think it's necessarily in a good way. Anyway, there are so many recipes that are not bad from that time. And some of them got a bad rap because they came from the Depression era. So even good things that came from the Depression era, people stuck their noses up at because they were Depression era. But did you know that one of the wonderful things that came out of the Depression era was meatloaf? Oh yeah. And meatloaf can be stretched to go so far. And oh, so by the way, last weekend, excuse me, cleanup weekend, I had my first Impossible Burger, Impossible Beef, the new vegetarian burger stuff. And I was a little leery because I've had so many that are not good. I like Morningstar Farms. That's what I typically use. But this new one, and by the way, for everyone who's freaking out about ingredients, I've looked into it. No, they're not that horrible like they sound. In fact, they're pretty simple. They're better than burger. Anyway, so I had this burger and it was really good, and I can't wait now to get the ground meat version because I want to make a meatloaf. Yes, meatloaf. So you put in it bread, and that extends it right away. So whether you're talking meat or veggie meat, when you put the bread in it, you are actually eating less meat, less expensive, healthier for your body. Throw in a couple of eggs that will bind it together. You can throw in ground or chopped nuts and sauteed what? Celery, an onion, and a little garlic, maybe. Oh, yeah. So, and then you can make a beautiful meatloaf. One of my favorite meals of all time is meatloaf with baked potatoes and baked butternut squash. And one of the best parts about it is you put everything in the oven and go do something else. Not many dishes, not much work. And so that's a great dinner. So I'm going to, as we go through the coming weeks, whatever, I'm going to be sharing more um, Depression era foods that we could try out. And if I'm not doing that, I'm going to share, hopefully, if I go to the store, a recipe or an idea or an item for you to consider cooking. And maybe I'll let you know a day in advance, so or a week in advance, whatever, so you might have it on hand if you decide you want to try it. Remember last year? Gosh, it wasn't last year now. It was already the year before last. Every Sunday, uh, my my granddaughter's husband would come over. She passed away. So her husband would come over. We'd continue our Sunday night dinners, and every week we would try something we'd never seen before, never had before. Might have seen it, never had it. So think about that. Think about expanding. Let's do that together. And I will tell you what, you are never going to see me present here, aside from probably meat, unless I just tell you about it. I'm not going to make it. Uh, jackfruit. Jackfruit did not do it for me. Who knows what we'll come up with, though? And with that, can you believe it's time to get off to my day? Tishy, it's time to get off to our day. Can you believe that?
Yeah, say goodbye to everybody. Say bye-bye, everybody. I'm going to try to stay healthy. Come on in and love me.
And I love you. I hope you have a great day. See you in cyberspace. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll be together tomorrow. Bye bye.